the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I begin with the greeting words of paradise. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. In the winter season, around December 25th, the people celebrated the winter solstice. In the far north was the Feast of the 12 Nights, which stretched from December 25th to January 6th. Also in ancient Greece, there was the Bacchanalia, which was held for their god Bacchus, the god of wine and sport and play. Also in the north, they recognized that there was one tree that despite the cold would still remain alive. The evergreen tree, the fir tree. And so in some cases they would take this fir tree, believing that there was powers of life within the tree, and they would put it in their homes, set it there and put a light on the top of it, or burn them in the front, or they would make mistletoes and put them over their doorways, a type of what we would call ta'weez or tamima. It is an amulet, and they would hang the amulet over their doors. One of the interesting individuals, and you can look this up if you can find it in the dictionaries or encyclopedias, is a man called Mithra. This is a very mysterious character. And when you look at history, you find that this individual called Mithra was born on December 25th. His day of the week was the 7th day of the week, that we still call Sunday. He was supposed to be the son of the sun god himself, and they had a special sacrament made up of bread and wine, and they would make this drink during this time, and supposedly he died for the sins of the people. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Now, New Year's Eve historically in the north was known as Hogmanay. Originally, the new year for the Romans was March 1st. That was the new year, not January 1st. So all of you who are on January 1st, where was I on January 1st? You're waiting for the light to go up in Times Square. The reality is, for the Romans, March 1st was the beginning of the year. And when you look at the number 7 in Latin, you find septem. So September was the 7th month, October, November, December. And so you find that the Latin words for these last months, October, November, December, 8, 9, and 10. So these weren't the last months of the year. It was 8, 9, and 10. And so what actually happened was, when they imposed the new year on January, it is for the ancient god, or their so-called god called Janus, the two-faced god, two faces, who shows you one face and behind it is another face, the master hypocrite. And so this is what is going on at this occasion. And we find now that on January 1st, right on that evening, December 31st, when it changes, you find, people are usually drinking, they're involved in some sexual activity at that time. The whole concept of Jesus and monotheism is lost. It is the other religion. Somewhere around the middle of February, there was a celebration that was known by the ancient Romans as the Lupercalia. And the Lupercalia was a ceremony, and Luper means wolf. And they depicted a wolf chasing a little girl. And the authorities there would gather together young people, and they would put their names into a box, men and women, and they would take out the names, and whoever was your partner, whoever you picked, whatever name you picked, was your partner for the day, and all types of sexual activity went on during that day. They were totally out of control. That is the Lupercalia. That's what it really means. A bishop by the name of Valentine, he was trying to work with the Roman soldiers because the Roman emperor had imposed upon his soldiers that anybody who joined the army could not get married. Because if you got married, you're thinking about your wife all the time, and you're a useless soldier. But the soldiers wanted to get married, so Saint Valentine worked with them, and he was captured by the Roman emperor, he was imprisoned, and he was beheaded. And so a legend formed around Saint Valentine's Day. In one case, it said he even helped a blind young girl. He was trying to help her get married. And so she wrote a note, and it was found in his jail cell, "To my Valentine." Up in the north, all the trees lose their leaves except for the evergreens. And so in that spring season, the spring solstice, in the northern countries, a fertility celebration came about. And the main figure in that fertility celebration was their goddess Ostre or Ostern. And according to them, she waved her wand and life came back after death. And so the symbols of that occasion became rabbits, bunny rabbits, chickens, eggs. You take 2 rabbits and put them in the backyard, and after a couple of days, there's rabbits jumping around everywhere in the back. It's a fertility symbol. The Christians coming in now who want to get benefit from the nature worshiping people, they use that saying, if you can't beat them, join them. So they came along and they joined them. And so now you find Easter. Look at it. This is supposed to be the time of the death and resurrection of Isa alayhi salam, but it is the pagan rite of the resurrection of life after death. And so they impose this occasion onto the spring season, and you find then both of these celebrations coming about at one time. Now going to the fall season, the Celtic people of the north used to believe that during the fall season their year began. October 31st was the final day of the year for the Celtic people of the north. And that day was called the day of Samhain. And this individual, wal-iyadhu billah, was supposed to be their god of the spirits of the dead, of evil again. And according to their belief, the evil spirits would rise to the surface and would terrorize people on that evening. And on that evening, if you did something wrong to a person, they'd come back to get you on that night. So some people would put on a disguise, so you couldn't recognize them on October 31st on that evening, and then they would be safe. Also, they would burn fires. Now the only thing we find left of that is the jack-o'-lantern that they would put inside of their window made from the pumpkin. What actually happened in Europe is that the church moved All Saints' Day, a day for the saints. They moved it from May 13th to November 1st in 1834 AD. And so what they said was that the 31st night is All Hallows Evening. All Hallows Evening, which in America later became known as Halloween. Halloween. And they depict the forces of evil. What is happening now is that the children put on disguises. They dress as little devils, little witches, as goblins, vampires, anything evil, and they go out, and now with the new American way, they do trick-or-treat. And they come to your house asking for food. And do not just blindly follow the ways of the Christians and the Jews. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, you will follow them. You will follow the people who came before you inch by inch, foot by foot. Even if they crawl into the hole of a lizard, you crawl inside there with them.